Our next presenter is the city of Washburn. Do I have that right? And we will have Mayor Irene Blakely.
Hi. For my presentation, you'll have to imagine not only the slides, but the handouts as well. Some of the things that I'll be talking about will be very small things because we're a very small community, 2,285 people, and some of the things will be what you are doing as well, and that's because it makes sense. It's common sense to start with the low-hanging fruit that we are starting with, but I am not naive enough to believe that this is nearly enough. It's a severe critical threat that we face, and it's hard to know if we have enough actions we can take to stop the threat that we're facing. But we can try because that's all we can do. So for our part as an eco-municipality, the nation's first, that's an important thing to say because we're the first up north here in Chequamegon Bay to be eco-municipalities, and it is an identity that is growing throughout the state. So we need to not only be the pioneers that Mary's talking about, we need to have strong leadership in order to affect other people. So that's why awareness for us means more than awareness raising in our own communities. It means broader awareness raising. So with Mary, with other folks, I've made visits to other communities to increase awareness. La Crosse, Marshfield, River Falls, Red Wing, Minnesota, Monona, Stevens Point, the Wisconsin chapter of the American Planning Association, the Wisconsin chapter of the Landscape Architects Association, the Wisconsin Economic Development Association. These are hundreds and hundreds of people now who know about us in Chequamegon Bay and about Washburn, which is what, of course, is near and dear to me. Programs and events are broadcast in our city on cable access TV. So when we have videotaped the Green and Healthy School panel that Mary's going to show, that's going to be on our cable access TV station in Washburn, and it'll run over and over again. There's a lecture by Dr. Carl Henrik Robert that has run over and over again. The lecture at Pie and Politics of John Eichert has been running on our cable TV. So these are opportunities for people to tune in and learn more about sustainability. We also have articles that we've written and printed in various publications, but most notably in our own city newsletter, which is a quarterly newsletter. There's always an issue on sustainability. Library programs in the last 2 years have been about gardening. There's been a library garden in Washburn, and this second year it was a bird-friendly garden. And all the summer readings were related to the practice of gardening, creating food, and then this bird garden, and that feeds very well into what they're learning in their school. We're also involved in producing a film about Washburn's eco-municipality initiatives, and luckily Greg David has been working with us on that. And most recently, I've been involved in Superior Days, and so has Mayor McDonald, Mayor Monroe, Brandon Boys. We went down to lobby, and we lobbied the Department of Natural Resources and the new Office of Energy Independence, and Tom Wojciechowski was with us as well, and asking them for more demonstration projects, for more money for more demonstration projects. Fat chance we're going to get that in the deficit from the state budget, but nevertheless, we want them also to consider in the current programs that they do fund for conservation and energy, that they consider multi-jurisdictional applications so that Chequamegon Bay, with communities too small otherwise, can nevertheless have a multi-jurisdictional grant application that they would consider very seriously. We ask that they at the same time give us extra credit for a good record of sustainable achievements in our communities. Sounds like all of us here would be able to create such a record, and that we bank them. We find a form of credits like energy credits or tax credits or something, that there be credits for investments we've made in sustainable practices and savings we've achieved in sustainable practices, and that we get to bank those up and use those as matches on grants that we receive. Because up north here, it's hard for small communities to come up with the match for even simple small grants. Urban forestry grants are $20,000. In our community, to come up with another $20,000 in in-kind match, which they allow, is out of the question. It's possible, I suppose, in Ashland, 4 times our size, but certainly not for us. So I would like to have the bank of achievements come forward, and then I would be able to use those credits to help our city match that grant. So we will continue to use our newsletters and the cable TV more as we look at our goals, and put more information on our website, which has been newly constructed also this last year. Much more attractive, much more user-friendly. A lot of things that are new on the website are making it get more hits from the citizens, and so we want to have more information about sustainability on the website. I mention it because Peggy's a citizen of Washburn, and she has pledged to do articles for the Daily Press on a regular basis, and she just started with her first article, and that helps us all to move forward. The Marina and our Harbor Commission are going to be working with the Harbor Towns Association to promote environmental awareness with boaters, and so that in our new marina management we have more environmental awareness, and they are moving towards a paperless operation at the Marina Management Office. So we would like to create the partnerships with the Department of Natural Resources and the Office of Energy Independence that sound so promising for us from our visit to Superior Days, and so all of us are going to be working together to do that. A lot of the keys here are working together in ways that we have never done before, in ways that we all understand are much more promising for all of us. The challenge that we face next that we're exploring, it's not about awareness. I just wrote it on that first page, is streetlights. If you read the paper, you know we're considering streetlights and replacing them. XL wants to replace them with sodium lights, and we're kind of worried because those same sodium lights are going to be with us for a long, long time if we do that streetlight replacement program. So if anybody can help us with that, that would be lovely, because there are new possibilities, and we may be on the cusp of that. I want to make sure we're positioned to take advantage of it, and we haven't cut off our options for another potentially 30 years. For baseline assessments, this is also very difficult in a small community. We rely a lot on focus on energy audits to help us to find our baselines. And what we're going to try to do is, because of the school's interest in doing survey and research of usage, to involve them in projects for the city where they come to us and tell us about, do assessments of our use of paper, our purchasing, and that we can work with the school to have them help us do our research on baseline. What we have done for baseline is in terms of economic development. That's very important for us, and that we think is linked very closely to sustainability. Good stewardship and strong economic development are hand in hand. They're not separate situations. So we've done, in cooperation with the Department of Commerce in the state, a survey of Washburn businesses, business retention and expansion survey that tells us where we are in terms of our businesses in our community. And we're hoping then to get more of these measurements together so that we have indicators of change when we do implement new practices, because now we just do it. And it happens and we do it. The first thing that we did, and I've reported on this before, is put tankless hot water heating system in our West End camping park shower building. That was the first thing that we did, and it was an opportunity. It wasn't a plan. So what I'm hoping we can move to is not a responsive mode to a crisis that we have, but in fact move because it's a well-planned situation for us. In terms of creating a vision, we have a vision for affordable housing, a scattered site approach, one family, one site at a time, because the fourth principle of the natural step is to help to ensure that people have what it takes to get their needs met. And affordable housing is one of those things, we believe. We also have sustainability on the agenda for every city staff meeting, so that the city administrator always has that point and an opportunity for department heads to talk about what they are doing about sustainability in their department or ideas that they have for it. We've set our vision, and it was passed this last year in terms of our comprehensive plan. The first sentence of the comprehensive plan in Washburn is that by 2027, Washburn will be a sustainable community. That's sentence number 1. And the rest of sustainability language is threaded throughout that document. So in future, we'll continue to implement our city's comprehensive plan. And that means revision of codes and sustainable practices that actually can feed right into our ordinances. I told you that the marina is planning a paperless operation when they completely redid the marina building. They have, I think, 4 file cabinets in there. And that's all they want to have. Their question is always going to be, do I need a piece of paper for this? We are also reviewing processes for city staff and city hall to make it more efficient. And we're looking to establish a community garden. So we want to study that possibility for citizens in our community. We already have a stormwater utility as far as actions that we've accomplished. So now what we are looking for next is to update a stormwater management plan and move away from a converge and convey system to a detain and retain system. We live on a slope, and it's very, very important that we tackle this at the top of the slope. So that's one of the plans for the future. We've changed the lighting in all city public buildings now. We just changed the lighting in City Hall last week, and we will realize a savings in energy of 25%. All exit lights are LED. The hot water heater that we replaced in that shower building, well, City Hall's hot water tank is failing, so we will do that in the City Hall building as well. We have expanded recycling in all public buildings. And we save stuff. A lot of what we talk about has to do with the Department of Public Works and how they work in our parks and green spaces and public buildings. And they're really the unsung heroes for the city of Washburn in getting us to be very active in sustainability. And one of the things they do is save stuff. They compost all the yard waste, so people can drop it off and they will chip it, and then people can pick it up again and if they want to use it for their gardens. And they save rock. We went through a $14 million project for water and sewer to replace aging pipes, the plumbing system of the city, I guess I could say. And in that digging up of sewers, where they had to dig 8 feet for the sewers, they discovered rock, because we are actually the old Lake Superior Beach. We're part of that in Washburn. So there's a lot of sand and there's a lot of rock. Well, if you go to Washburn now, you'll see a lot of people, including me, have great big rocks as decoration in our entry, walkways and so on, because that's what they dug up in front of our houses. And we said, oh, can we have that rock? And so we all have rocks if we were in the construction. locations. But Charlie Guskey, who's the director of Public Works, has even more rocks than anybody else because he wanted them for a project. And the project that's coming up is a shoreland restoration project for our West End Park. We've just seen the first plan that was done in collaboration with 3 of our citizen advisory committees and Jason Fischbach of UW Extension. And they have worked together and given us an idea of shoreland restoration that will not only help this rather low-lying beach area to be more naturally planted, it will also extend our walking trail through the park, and we hope it will keep geese away. That, like sustainability, might not be possible. We might have passed the tipping point, and we in Washburn might have passed the geese tipping point as well. But if we haven't, one of the things we have to do is install riprap to control erosion at one end of the park. And riprap is big, large, jagged rocks. Well, we've got all the rocks we need because of our forward-thinking Director of Public Works who saved rocks. And so he's got most of the rocks we need. I don't know what it costs to buy rocks, but especially the size that you need. But we've got them, and we don't have to pay extra for them. We're reusing. 2 meetings ago, the City Council passed an ordinance allowing any of these in our city as well. We have radiant heating in our city garage now. It is a newer kind that I think is a little bit more cost effective, but I don't know much about that one. What we're working on in the future is a park and ride location. So we're hoping to find some property, the city owns some, that we can contribute to this whole transportation transformation that we will have to make. All of us will have to make in deep and abiding ways. Today I could say, gee, I probably could have taken the bus over to the American. In only months, I will say, I have to take the bus. Because if gas is going to be $4 a gallon, and it's 15 miles from Washburn to this location, that's 30 miles round trip. My car doesn't get 30 miles to the gallon, it only gets 28. So it's going to be like $4.50 a trip to come to Ashland. It doesn't cost that to go on the BART bus. And it doesn't even cost that even if I called up and got a ride on the Blue Goose down to the bus stop from my door and back. It still wouldn't cost that much to get to Ashland. I'm looking forward to Ashland's moves to have a much more creative bus service within the city so that I can get from the American to some other places in Ashland while I'm over here. We are trying to streamline our paper processes and save energy in our own city hall as well. And we're planning to review cleaning products. Right now, the custodian is very devoted to those highly volatile, they smell like it's clean products, and it's a little bit difficult to move away from that, but it's going to happen. We are also changing our ventilation system in the City Hall building. So those are some of the things that we have done in a nutshell that we've been able to accomplish during this time. We know we have to have bigger projects. I just would end with saying part of what our responsibility in my mind is as eco-municipalities is to inspire others. So I think that our school that you'll hear about shortly is what is happening there and what's happening in Washburn is in part another collaborative product. It's another thing about working together with each other to get something to happen, being on the same page with each other, inspiring each other. I am constantly inspired by Sue Masterson, and her question is always not, whether or not it can happen, but how can we make this happen? And I'm trying to pick that up in my own in my own work. And also the private people in Washburn I would like to give a lot of credit to, because they really have done so many things too. So many things to see that in June there will be a busload of teachers who come up to see what we're doing in Washburn, because they're excited by it, and there are enough things for them to see because of the inspiration that some people have shown about being an eco-municipality. It's an important responsibility for all of us. Thanks.
I want to particularly thank Irene for talking about multi-jurisdictional grant idea, and also talking about giving credits to communities that have already saved energy and are working on eco-municipality initiatives. And some of the things that she talked about reminded me that the state of Wisconsin has just formed the Office of Energy Independence, which I think is going to have some support for the work that we do and may even choose this community as one of their regions that they focus on to use. They are.